Good evening, everybody. Welcome and come on in this room. We are very, very excited about you guys being here on this evening. We see y'all on here. Hello, Camilla. Hello, Mrs. Craig. Hello, Toya. Thank y'all so much for joining. We're gonna give
Hello.
everybody about 5 more minutes, maybe, before we get started. But we are excited that you guys are here. If you want to send this out to someone, maybe a friend or someone you want to share this with, go ahead and get them on. I think we want to invite any and everybody who would like to come out and hear on tonight what God is going to share through Tamika. So we are excited and grateful that you guys decided to come on in. So again, welcome and just give us a couple of more minutes. We're going to set everything up and then we're going to jump into this. I hope y'all having a good day so far. Yes. Hey, Camilla. We're glad you're here. We're glad that you are here. Okay. Just making sure everybody has what they need. Make sure that I've done my part. Okay, it's okay. We will be, this is being recorded. So, if you want to ask questions or want to ask anything, you can definitely do that and put it in the chat. But if you need to hop off, like if you gotta go and something happens or the call drop, it is being recorded, so you'll be able to come back and listen in. I do believe that this is going to be a very, very impactful session tonight. And we are just excited. For those of you, I think everybody who knows me here, but I'm Miss Taylor. And we have okay, we have some other people coming in. And I'm just one of the directors for EB Academy. And we have Lady Shanae here, and she'll tell you a little bit about herself. And we'll kind of talk about how this got started, and then we'll get into the actual segment. And so for those of you again who just came in, welcome. Thank you so much. My name is Sharisa Taylor. I am the founder of I Teach, I Coach LLC or EB Academy. I have the awesome opportunity to tutor um, scholars in grades K through 12. Well, I guess I need to say pre-K through 12. And I work with homeschoolers. I have three kings that I work with at this present moment. They make up my tiny micro school. Um, and they're in grades from grades 4 through 9. So I have a fourth grader going to fifth, a seventh grader going to eighth, and an eighth grader going to ninth. So those are my babies so far for my micro school. I'm excited. And that is just a little bit about me. My background is education. Had I still been in the educational field as a actual teacher, this will be year 21 for me. Um, Graduated from Alabama State University. Came out and just been in education ever since until I took a leap of faith in 2021. Uh-oh, did someone say ASU?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, so I stayed there until 2021 in education. I have been a reading coach. I've also been a first grade teacher, a second grade teacher, a third grade teacher, third, yeah, third grade teacher, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade reading teacher for a program called SFA, and also did private tutoring just as a need for people. It wasn't something that I was trying to get into. I really, really wasn't. It just did it because somebody asked me to, and they needed it. And so it kind of just my business just kind of exploded from there. And so that's a little bit about me. I'm so glad that each and every last one of you are here And whether someone has invited you or you're just stepping in for someone, we are so glad that you are here. Thank you so much for joining. Now, I'm going to tag my partner in crime, Lady Shanae. No, literally, she's like my business bestie. So we are working as camp directors of a camp. We have two camps: One Vision, Camp Destiny, and Camp EB. And so I'm going to tag it over to her so she can introduce herself. And then we're going to get into this segment on tonight because I already know this is going to be good. So, again, welcome. And Lady Shanae, I'll give you the floor.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Shanae Marberry. I live in the great city of Childersburg. Born and raised in Sylacauga, but I married my husband. We've been married for 15 years, Apostle James Marberry. We're here in the great city of Childersburg. As Miss Taylor said, I am her partner. I'm her business partner. Um, we have we have a divine relationship sent from heaven. I thank God for my partner. I thank God for her being sent into my life for helping me to launch my summer camp. So this is year number 2 for me. And we are expanding. I see the hand of God. I praise God for the fruit that I am producing in Him because y'all, we couldn't do without him. We cannot do anything without the Lord. Even tonight, this came about from um, me. I do work in education. My background is medical. God changed my career maybe about 14 years ago. He changed my career. He brought me into education. I am an employee at Sylacauga High School in Sylacauga. Um, I have worked with all grades. I mean, pre-K all the way to the 12th grade. So I thank God for my growth in education. Um, I just thank him for everything, y'all. I really, really do. As I was saying, these classes and these support groups have come from parents having questions, needing help. How do I do this? How do I do that? My grandbaby is getting ready to go into kindergarten in August. My daughter is single. We lost his dad to gun violence about 3 years ago. So guess what? We are helping her to raise him. So is he's like my son, I'm in my mid 40s, and I'm just like, woo, Jesus, things have changed, things are different. I believe that these support groups are well needed. Parents need support. They need support. They need to know that somebody is out there praying for them, rooting for them, just changing the game for our kids is what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to be those like Miss Taylor tells us, agents. We gotta be those change agents for our kids so that they would grow up and take on that legacy of being that change agent themselves. So again, my name is Shanae, and I'm so happy to be here. Happy to serve y'all tonight. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And we're just so great. I'm so grateful. Like she said, our relationship was so divine. We met at a conference and we're speakers at the same conference. And then we briefly talked and chatted a little bit. And then she popped up at my church one day. um and hadn't seen her and hadn't talked to her, and we instantly connected, and we were going one way, but God said, here's another road. And so and we just put a pin in that, and that's for her so she can know what I'm talking about. It was a pin in that so that God can do what he's doing now. But we are just excited, man. We have a heart for kids. We love our babies. If you are in our Facebook group or if you have been following our journey, like you see the love that we have for our scholars. It started with she and I, and we had our first camp together last summer, and now we got a whole team. And I think we have some more people who may be added to the team. Just really parents just getting behind the vision. And I know many of you, those of you who are here, some of you may know each other, but we have some people just been really getting behind the vision and helping Lady Shanae and I push this what God has given us for these babies. And so we are in week 4 of our camp. I cannot believe like week 4 already. And so we decided to do these in parent virtual check-ins. And it's for anybody, those for our camp parents, but it is for anybody. Yes, and y'all see Jay Craig. She is the chief of fun. She helps plan our field trips, and she's saying, listen, join in, please, and thank you. We need everybody. It really does take a village to help this grow. And so we need everybody, but we were just wanting to do something for our parents this year. Our kids get poured into every day, not just by the camp directors, but we have people coming in, pastors, mentors, barbers, um all type of local people in the community coming in and pouring into our babies. But we said we wanted to do something for our parents, and so and friends of parents and family members. And so that's how these came up. We did our first one on June the 9th, and we can tag that replay so you guys can look at that. It was talking about bridging the gap from home to school, how building a relationship with your child's teacher, life coach, tutor is so imperative for their growth and their learning. And so today we have none other than my good friend. And hello, those of you who just came in. We have none other than my good friend, Tamika Woolley, who is, I call her Minister Tamika. But she is going to, I see, come on, Tanya, that's what I'm talking about. I see, she is just such a light, and she has a heart and a passion for children herself, and what she currently is doing and the other things, just her own kids. We are just excited to have her. I want to let her, she's the founder and CEO of Be Bold, Be Brave. And she has so many amazing things that she's doing for parents and autism. She's an autism advocate. I'll let her tell you more about her story. But at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Minister Tamika. We're going to let her pour out. And I don't know what kind of style she wants it. She may want y'all to come off of mute and talk, whatever. But if you have questions, comments, or concerns, please place them in the chat. We will be watching them. And so, again, welcome, everybody. And hello, Minister Tamika. The floor is yours.
Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. It's so good to be here. Thank you so very much to Sharissa. Thank you so very much to Lady Shanae for them having me on. So I like to give them honor and say thank you so very much for this opportunity. I truly do not take it lightly. So to give you guys a little bit of background about me, again, my name is Tamika. I am a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a mother of 6 kids, which I always say I have 2 sets of kids because I have 3 that are young adults now, and then I have 3 that are school age. Um, and then at this moment, she just told you that I've just created this business, Be Bold, Be Brave Ministries. And I do multiple things, but here recently, the biggest thing that I've seen a need for is dealing with kids with autism. So that's currently what I'm working on now, and I'm so excited to tell you guys more about that at the end. But other than that, I am a children's and youth pastor at my local church where I attend. And prior to that, I've always worked with children. I've owned my own daycare, so I've been the teacher in the classroom. I've been the director dealing with youth ministry. I've been the ministry volunteer. I've had the opportunity to oversee children's ministries. So I've been in the world of dealing with children and childcare like forever and a day. Even when I was in high school, I would get out of school early and go to the Linda Nolan Center, which is the name of it is here where we live. But that is a special needs center where kids with special needs go. So I would get out of school for a half a day and go and work with those kids. And as I was thinking a few weeks ago, I was like, God, like you knew what you were doing. Like he knew back then, like he always knows. He knows everything. So I just want you guys to know that nothing is ever wasted. God uses each and every opportunity for the good. You may not see that it's good right then at that time, but he uses it for your good. So after I closed my daycare, I became a nanny. So I've nannied, watched kids at home. I've worked in the school system, so I'm always working with kids. I've always worked with kids, and then like I said, I've had six, so I've been through it. Like each and every stage makes you be a different person. I will say I have grown in my parenting throughout the years, and like I said, each stage takes you to be a different person. So my youngest is my child that has autism. So we noticed things as he started to I'll say he wasn't even one yet, but I just remember and at that time I was working at a daycare, but I noticed that he wasn't like responding to his name. His name is Trace, and I would be like, calling his name, Trace, Trace, but he would never look. He would never pay attention. I would just like have to get in his face. And then even then, there wasn't good eye contact. So I remember asking his daycare teacher one day, I was asking her, I was like, does he respond to you? Does he respond to your name when you call his name? And she, at that time, again, she didn't really know. They're at daycare, they're dealing with, 5 to 6 other babies. She just knows that, he's fine. And, he was hitting his milestones, because one thing about autism is you may not know it right then because they may possibly be hitting all their milestones. Because at one time he was talking, he started to talk. He was eating like everything. So other than him not responding to his name, he was on track. Everything else was going good. So once he turned 18 months, I started to see a lot of digression. Like he stopped saying mama, he stopped saying dad. He still wasn't responding to his name. And then he stopped eating a lot of things. But then it's like his vocabulary, it just like completely stopped. And I remember it was one evening, my oldest son actually, he was like, Mama, he was like, Trey should be talking by now, shouldn't he? And I was like, yeah, he should. And he was like, well, why do you think he's not? And I was just like, I'm not sure, but with me working with children all these years and having my 5 previous kids, like I knew something was different about Trace. I knew there was something. And my husband would be like, no, it's just he's the baby. It's just he's the baby. And I'm like, no, like he's different. Something, is going on. So I remember that night I cried my eyes out. Like I talked to God. I was up late that night. Everybody else had went to sleep. And I just remember just crying and crying. And I was like, God, like, how can, I had to question God. For me, I was like, how can I go, and I've been with all these other kids all these years. I'm always seeing about everybody's kids. And now here it is, my kid. And I'm like, something's wrong, something's going on. And I was just, oh, I was in denial for a long time. But after that night, praying and talking to God, I set up a doctor's appointment. Went into his to see his doctor, and I explained to her everything that I was noticing, and letting her know, he has stopped talking. He's not eating anything like he used to. And then she, at that point, they can't confirm anything until they send you to get testing. So the first thing that they did is they did a hearing test, because again, he wasn't responding to me calling his name. He wasn't looking. So that was the first thing that they did. They did one there. And he passed it. It was good. And they were like, well, okay, let's send you to the children's hospital, because they'll do a more in-depth hearing test. So they scheduled that. We went to that, and he passed it. Like he passed it. He can hear, but he's not responding to his name. So that's when she said, let's refer you to the Sparks Clinic, which is a autism testing center in Birmingham. And during this time, this I remember when I got the paperwork, it was like so overwhelming. For one, I'm getting all this information coming to me. And like I sat on it for a while, like, because was in some like a type of denial, really. And so it was probably like 3 months in, and I was like, okay, I got to get this paperwork done. I got to get it filled out and get it turned in. So I finally done it, and I got it in. Okay, now during this time, COVID has hit. So we can't get out and go to our COVID testing. I mean, go to our autism testing in person. So he has to do his virtually. So we did that. And now we're waiting for the results. But this whole time, like how that mama intuition kicks in. So I'm knowing, and like I said, I've previously worked with special needs kids, and just working with kids all these years. Like, and again, he's my sixth child. Like, I didn't go through this with any of my other kids. Like, I knew it was something. So we finally got the test results back. They got us on a Zoom, just like we're on, and we had to talk to each different person that he got tested for. So they tested him for, when they have to go for these tests, and they have to do like a psychiatry. They do one as far as their health, like their feeding, like the things that they're eating. And then they're like a language and speech. So there's like multiple tests that they have to do. So they got on, and they were like, okay, this is how he did in this area. This is how he did in this area. This is how he did in this area. And there are 3 levels to autism. There's level 1, which is like high functioning. There's level 2, and that's like the mid, like they're gonna need some type of help. And then there's level 3, where they need help all the time. And they told us that my little buddy was level 2. So that was, hearing that was like a whole nother thing. Like, even though I already kind of knew it in the back of my mind, and we had been through all this testing, like, just to hear that, it was something totally different. Um, Again, I'm crying, like I'm bawling, like, oh my goodness, like, okay, God, now what? What are the next steps? My thing was not, it wasn't always about the diagnosis itself. It was about knowing what was going on, in order to give him the best life possible for him. So After that, we went into therapy. So he went to the ARC. It's called the ARC here. So it's like early intervention. So he was 18 months when that first started happening. So once we get to this part and we're starting early intervention, he's 2 years old. So we have a therapist that would come out to our house, and she would do different things with him, occupational. She would just play with him, and we're just, working and trying to get him, to talk and do these different things. He first started out doing sign language, so we had to learn sign language because he's not talking, so he can't tell us what he wants. Um, he's waking up in the middle of the night crying, you know, and we don't know what's wrong. We can't help because there's a language barrier there. He can't tell us what's wrong. So we're starting this early intervention, and it was absolutely amazing. They were so nice. And every month they would have story time. So I would take him there every month, and we would do different things. I went to the pumpkin patch. So at this time, I'm not working. It's like I gotta see about him. He's my main focus at this time. So we went ahead and went through all of that. Once he turns 3 years old, then he ages out of that early intervention part. And now he's going to therapy, and he has to transition into the school system. So once we transition into the school system at 3 years old, I have to take him to his therapy. And at this time, he has three therapists. He has a speech therapist, an OT, and then an ABA. And so those were the three that he would go. So he would go, and I would take him 2 or 3 times out of the week, and he would go to therapy. And I would have to drop him off. I would have to leave him. So school is starting, and I'm taking all the other kids shopping for their backpacks, and how it is when you're getting ready to start school. You want your clothes, you want your new shoes, you want a backpack. So I get him all this stuff too, because again, he's autistic kids are like all the other kids. There's just a language barrier depending on the level that they're in, and we'll talk a little bit more about that soon. But so I get him everything that he needs, and I just remember that first day dropping him off at his therapy session, because we can't. If he's aged out of me being there with him at the therapy, to where I'm having to drop him off now. And I was so nervous. Like, I was more nervous than he was. He's like, he got his backpack on. He just walk in, and he just walk on in the door, and he gone. And I was just like, man. But he loved it. They did a great job with him. Once he turned 4, then he got ready to go to the big school before kindergarten. Here where we live, they have a pre-K. So he got ready to go into that. I got the opportunity to meet the teacher. He was in a small class with other kids with special needs too. So there's only like 5 or 6 of them. I think it was 8 max. And he did absolutely amazing. He did so good that year. So at the end of each year, they would do another evaluation. So now we're into the school. So now we have to get an IEP set up, and there's different things that you have to get set up in place. And he was able to ride the bus. Like, the bus would come to like, with him having IEP, the bus comes to our house. Like, he doesn't have to go to the bus stop. It stops right in front of our house for him. But a lot of this stuff I didn't know. And they let me know everything that they could do for him, everything that was offered. And they were so, so nice. And I was so, so grateful for that. So now he's going into kindergarten. He's gotten his all of his information. He's gotten the test results back that he is level 2 autistic. But they said that they want to put him in a regular classroom. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But what type of accommodations will he have? Will he have someone that's going to be with him? And that's when that's when that me being an advocate kicked in, advocate for him kicked in. Like, I had to be the voice for him. He's nonverbal, so I got to speak up. I got to learn all this stuff. I got to learn about the special needs rights. I got to learn all about the IEP. I got to know the difference between an IEP and a 504. Like, okay, I'm like, all right, now I got to get ready to go to school. Like, I got to study this stuff. I have to learn all about it. So he goes on into kindergarten. He does go into a regular class, but at first he was riding the special needs bus because I was afraid to put him on a regular bus. Um because I didn't want other kids to pick on him, and then he can't come home and tell me his sister's on that bus, but I didn't want him to be picked on. So then I had to go into the school and ask for all these types of accommodations and different things. So now we're going in the first grade, and he wants to ride the bus with his sister. So we had made a great relationship with the bus driver, because Aria was already riding it, and now he wants to ride the bus with her. So we let them ride together. They make it to where that's when, instead of going to the bus, then they would come straight to the house. But they were only able to do that because he had an IEP, and they would sit right there in the very front seat, and he did absolutely amazing. So they would get to school. Excuse me. Aria came home, and I asked her, I was like, well, who gets Trace off the bus? And she said, nobody gets him off the bus. We go to breakfast together. And then, I walk him to his room. And I was like, oh no, let me go down to the school and see what's going on. Again, that's when the advocate had to just go on up in there. I had my briefcase. I had all this paperwork. Like, when being an advocate for your child, like, you have to go in, one, knowing what you're talking about and knowing what you're asking for, and letting them know that I'm a caring parent and I need to know what's going on, because I need the best that's offered for my child. Because one thing about, once they start going on up into higher grades, the school is not going to tell you everything that they have to offer. If you don't know, then you don't know. So I went in and I was like, he needs somebody getting him off the bus. He needs somebody to help him get to his classroom. And they were like, oh, we can't do that. Oh, yes, you can. Let me pull out these special needs rights right here. And he needs somebody that can get him off the bus until he learns the routine. I mean, if he's one going in the first grade, he don't know this big school. So we got all that worked out. And now, like, when I go into school, they be like, hey, Miss Woolley, hey, Miss Woolley. And they absolutely love Trace. Like, they already know, like, this lady know what she's talking about. So we absolutely love our school where we are now, and they absolutely take amazing care of him. But that's when the Lord was speaking to me, and he was like, other parents need to know these things. And I was dragging my feet. Like, he going in the third grade, y'all. So I've been dragging my feet for some years. And so I had another incident that happened. It wasn't a big incident, but this is where I noticed that there's not a lot of churches don't have the teachers, the volunteers are not equipped or trained to deal with special needs kids. So this is where another part of ministry kicked in for me. And so that's how we've gotten here, and I've gotten here in this to have this opportunity tonight is because I feel like there needs to be more safe spaces for kids with autism. More people need to know how to deal with kids with autism. It's not that they're they don't know. It's not that they can't learn. It's not that they can't talk. It's just knowing how to deal with them because each one is different. And update on Trace now, like he talks now. There's still some things that I don't understand. And he'll get frustrated, but he's talking like the therapy is working. He's they wanted to get him a device at one time. We end up not getting the device, but we are still, possibly thinking about it because I have to think about when he's not with me and he wants to tell somebody something and they may not understand him. Just because we understand a lot of the things he says, that doesn't mean everybody's going to understand him. And he gets frustrated after he says something, like after you ask him, like you can ask him the second time, but like when you ask him the third time, he'll say like, "Well, never mind." And I'm like, "No, I want to know what you're saying." Um, so just things like that. I just want teachers to be equipped. I want volunteers to be equipped. I want parents to be equipped. And so that's I just want you guys to kind of know the backstory, know how I've gotten to where I am now and being so passionate about advocating and speaking out. So autism is considered it. Some people just say autism. Some may say my child is on the spectrum. Someone say it's an autism spectrum disorder. You may just hear the abbreviation, which is ASD, but it's a neurodevelopment condition that affects how a person thinks, how they communicate, and how they experience the world. But like I said, every child on the spectrum is different. Every child on the spectrum is unique. Some may have strengths that others don't. Each one has their own strengths and their own challenges that they need to work out. So this condition, it affects them with communication, social interaction. They may deal with behavior, sensory processing, repetitive behaviors. They may have difficulties like transitioning to doing different things. I know for Trace, he loves routine. So he just did a summer camp with the school just because he loves school. He loves going. So when he's not in school, he's like, well, like it's the summertime, it's the weekend. I can stay up all night. And when I tell you all night, he will stay up all night because that's the way his brain works. He'll get so wired and he'll just go on and on and on. When he was younger, he would stay up like all through the night. Like I said, he would wake up crying sometime, but he would stay up all night. So we had to get him on a routine. Some may have a sensitivity to noise, to lights, to touch. They are, limited in speaking. Some do speak, some do not. And then they have specific interests of different things that they are focused on. For Trace, he deals with the sensory part. Um, his palate, as far as food goes, it has widened, but for a long time, all he would eat was grilled cheese or a hot dog. So they start to just have this specific things that they love. He still has a blanket that he has to have, like that is his sensory piece. Like he has to have his blanket, but he knows like I can't take it to school. If we're going to the store, I gotta leave it in the car. But it's just something about this blanket, and he's had it since a baby, and it's gotten holes in it. And I'm like, Trace, what are you gonna do when it's all torn up? And he's like, but my blanket. And his daddy told him the other day, he was like, buddy, I think you're getting starting to get too big for your blanket. And he's like, like, I need my blanket. So each child again has their own challenges are in that they're going to deal with. He is sensitive to loud noises, so you may see kids with autism covering their ears when they go into loud places. You may see them, closing their eyes with the lights and everything. So they have a lot of different things that they deal with. I want to talk a little bit about when you're supporting a child with autism. There are some do's and some don'ts. Like, you do want to greet the child by their name with a smile. You want to be patient with them because some may be verbal, some may be nonverbal. Some may use cues or gestures, sign languages. Again, some may have a talking device. Some may want to, you should offer them choices, um, even when I'm getting him dressed or getting him ready for school, I'll say, well, which shirt do you want to wear? Do you want to wear this one, or do you just getting them used to making choices on their own? And then you need to respect that child's need for space. Trace likes to have quiet time. Like, he'll just get under a blanket just so he can have his time. Like, we can all be in the room together, but he may be under a blanket because he wants to have his time. Things that you don't want to do is you never want to force eye contact. You never want to raise your voice at them. Again, they deal with sensitivity. That may be too loud for them. You never want to make them feel like they're different or out of the ordinary because they're not speaking, by telling them use your words. They process things differently. They may be verbal, they may not, and even if they are, it may be taking them a minute to process what you're saying. I know, like with Trace, I have to ask him a question, like, you know 3 or 4 times, which granted, a lot of times he playing his game, because you can't tell him he's not gonna be a YouTuber, like, but see, that's his focus. Like I said earlier, some of them have these focuses where they're just they zoom in on that, and one of his is technology. Like, he know more about technology than I do. He loves coding, he loves math, so those are his focuses. So there's times when he's playing and he's in his game, and I'm like, Trace, and but at the same time, I know it's taking. I'll say, hey, put that on pause, and because I know it's still taking him a minute to process what it is that I may be saying to him. So with these different sensory needs, it may be sound, it may be touch, it may be sight, it may be smell, it may be movement. I know he does not like the smell of watermelon. Like, if different stuff, like he doesn't, there's certain smells. So all of this stuff can affect their sensories. I mean, think about us. Like, if we smell something that we don't like, we're like, well, what's that smell? So a lot of when they deal with sensory issues, those things are heightened for them. When you're dealing with a child with autism, if you're a parent, or even if you may be a support person, a grandparent, or whatever the case may be, just knowing certain terms, like we talked about earlier, ASD, which means autism spectrum disorder, neurodiversity, which is just saying that they have autism. It's a difference in the way their brain works, and then sensory processing. And that's just pretty much saying that they have a sensory issue. Knowing if they're nonverbal or if they're minimally verbal. Um, then you may hear the word AAC, which is that's the communication device, if they may have one of those. Some kids STEM, which is stemming, and they may flap. That's one thing that Trace used to do. He would flap sometimes, like flap his hands. You may see them spinning. You may see them humming. So there are a lot of things that you may see them doing that you may not know. But those, again, those are some of the signs and some of the things that you can look for as well, if knowing, if I'm dealing with a child that may possibly have autism, or they may possibly be on the spectrum. Other words that you should know, especially going into the school system, is knowing about an IEP. And that's when you go into the school and you get, it's a document, um, and it's pretty much just laying out what your child's goals may be for that year. So each year they'll do one once it's get closer to the end of the year. They'll do one at the beginning of the year, and when it gets closer to the end of the year, and that's when they'll go over their goals. Hey, this is where we started. This is what we're working on, and this is where we're going. And those are so important to have, is an IEP plan. And then there's something called a 504 plan, and that's a document for kids with disability that need accommodations, modifications, if they maybe have a meltdown, knowing what a meltdown is versus having a tantrum. And with Trace, he gets accommodations. He gets extra time on his work. And with him now, he only has one person that's with him, like an aide, but she's not with him all day because he is in a regular classroom. But she comes in, if they're doing testing, she'll take him out, take her to her classroom. They allow him extra time. So there's different accommodations and modifications that can be offered to your child once they hit school age and go into the school, because I know it can be very fearful, when you have a child that can't speak up for themselves, or you may feel, that they're different and they need these extra things. Because again, the main thing I know for me, and I'm sure for other parents, is I want my child to live the best life that he can, or that she can. I want him or her to have everything that they need and that's offered to them, for them to be the best person that they are. So I also want to give you guys some inclusion language, like instead of saying he's high functioning, you could possibly say, he communicates more independently, or saying that she is low functioning, you could say she needs more support right now. Instead of saying he's aggressive, you could say he's showing stress through his behavior right now, because kids with autism, they can get stressed really easy, again, because their brain is not working like how our brain, they're not receiving the information the way that we're receiving the information. Instead of saying that they're non-compliant, you could say, well, they're overwhelmed and they need support. Even with the sensory, that's a lot of things, like when he starts to get to where he's acting out or he's stressed. There's something that I do, like a sensory box, and I put sensory toys in it. And they even do it at the schools. Even having like a poster with a happy face or a sad face. And sometimes we would do with Trace, well, was it a good day or a bad day? This is a good day and this is a bad day. So just learning different little tips. And again, each child is different. Each child is different. So that's one of the things with being a parent. You have to know your child. That's being an advocate. You have to know your child so you can let them know, this is what my child needs. This is how my child receives information. This is what calms my child down. So it's so good for you to know so you can inform them. There's just so much. There's so much. I could keep going on. I see we only have like 10 more minutes left. So oh, I have so much. Before we end, and because I want to have time for Q&A, I want to talk about if you don't feel like you're being heard as a parent, I want you to remember to stay calm and to stay firm. Keep records, keep notes, keep emails. Like I said earlier, like when I had to go in for that meeting, like I had my briefcase and I had all my stuff in it. Like I went in there, I pulled it out, like I got everything. Like, what is it that you need? Like I got all this documentation. So like keep a folder, keep a binder with everything in it, the IEP reports, therapist papers, anything like that. Keep all of that together so you'll always have it. And then ask for clarification in writing. One thing that I'm a stickler for is if I don't send me a text message. I either want it in writing or you need to send me an email because I need to have this paper trail. Like I need to know what you're saying. So I always got something to go back on. You're not just gonna send me a text message. Even if they would send notes home, anything like that, I always kept all of those things. Um, and it's good to know that you can always have support. Knowing the laws, the special needs laws, knowing your rights, knowing what you can do, what your child is allowed is so very important. Know that you can always bring a support person with you if needed when you go to these meetings, go to the IEP meetings. You can have an advocate with you. You can have a pastor. You can have a mentor. You can have someone with you. And I just want to say, don't go up. Don't give up. It takes a village. It takes a village, y'all. And I'm here. It takes support. Um, um, Lady Shanae said it earlier that parents and or it may have been Sharissa, but they said that parents need support. Look, I was taking notes, y'all. I'm a note taker, but they said that parents need support. So we have to create these spaces for parents to feel safe, to be able to ask questions, and just know that this being an advocate for your child, it's a journey, y'all. It's not a one-time event. As I talked about earlier, there's three different levels to autism. So, I don't know everybody's level, but I know I'm always wondering, how is Trace going to be once he gets older? At right now, he's a level 2, so is he always going to need support? Is he always going to need me? So just know that this is not like a one-time event. This is a journey, and I'm willing to journey with you all. Man, it's just so much. Make sure you build a circle of support, like what we're talking about. Other moms that are dealing with the same thing. Other special needs other moms that have children with autism. Getting to know the teachers, getting to know the therapists, the grandparents, extended family, siblings. Man, when I tell y'all, my baby girl Aria, like she is Trace's, man. When they say, you are your brother's keeper, like man, when I tell you, she is his keeper. She's getting ready to go to another school. She's going into middle school, so she's not going to be on the bus with him. And so I went to the bus driver at the end of the school year, and I was like, will you be the bus driver next year? And he's like, yes. And I was like, well, Aria's going to the middle school, so she won't be on here with him. And the bus driver was like, Aria has already talked to me to make sure that I'm gonna take care of Trace. And like she takes care. And then even like I said, sometimes I don't know what he's saying. She always know what he's saying. Like, man, she will break it down. She loves her brother. She's always looking out for him. Oh, there's so much more, but I want to make sure I leave time for Q&A. But before I get off, I just want to read something to you that I put together. And it says, God chose you, not a therapist, not a teacher, not a specialist, season, on purpose. You may not have all the answers. You may feel overwhelmed. You may feel unheard or unqualified, but God does not make mistakes. And he did not make one when he gave you your child. And remember this scripture, Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in your womb. I knew you. So take a deep breath. You've got this, and you are not alone. Be bold, be brave, and be you. You got this, brave mama. And that's all that I
Oh my goodness. This
have.
so good. This was so good. You hit just about everything I was thinking of. And I just need to piggyback on something that you said when you were talking about having someone to walk Trace um out on the bus and have somebody to take him here and there. You were really advocating for your child. And as an educator, some parents don't do that. I've seen it. Whether they don't do it because they don't know that they can do it, or they just don't do it. And so the fact that you said that, you was like, no, I know my rights. First of all, make sure you read your paperwork. Like,
Mhm.
read the IEP, read the 504, and know what it's saying to you. And if you, and I'm talking to you as a previous educator from the classroom and system, like
Mhm.
in the system.
Yeah.
Read your paperwork. If you don't know something, don't be afraid to ask. Don't feel like for a lack of words like you're not literate or something is like wrong because you don't know what's going on. Like there's
Mhm.
different terminologies like she said today, all those different terminologies um for autism. But if you don't know that, I mean, you can't get yourself beat up because of that. Ask questions. Not
Mhm.
only ask questions, know your rights.
Yeah.
You got to be able to stand up for, you have to advocate for that child. You may not get a teacher like me or like Lady Shade or who gonna
Mhm.
advocate for them like that and like, no, no, we need to make sure this child is getting pulled out. Cause that was
Yeah.
me. I was that one. Like, no, they need to have their service. Like, you need to get them. you
Mhm.
know. So thank you. I'm just gonna stop there. Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, and thank you so much for your vulnerability, your transparency, and just being able to come on and be real and raw. You were talking to us as if you were talking to your homegirl or like your best friend. Like you came in and you literally just lay out the law for us, whether we had a child with autism or we just learning more, like you and your story. And I know it took you a while to get here because I know I've known you for a couple of years and I've known the journey from where we are. And so I'm not going to cry because I've walked her with her through this. So, I'm just grateful to be able to see a testament of what God has done with you on tonight and how you are
Thank you.
stepping up and being bold and brave and starting this community and helping other parents, teachers, tutors. Girl, when you said bring another person in on your meetings, I was like, yes, cuz you just don't know. My parents, they were like, "Hey, it's one on here right now. Hey, I need you to read this paperwork. Hey, I need you to look at this. Like, you need another eye. Does this make sense? Are they doing the right thing for my child? Like, you came on and you dropped all this wisdom and nuggets. I'm gonna stop talking because I see a hand raised, but I just had to commend you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
um, we're gonna open it up for questions and comments. I do see a hand. Janice, you can come off of mute if you can.
Okay, I'm off. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this was great, great information. I just wanted to add, I have a 10-year-old that has autism. He's level 1. And a lot of qualities in your baby, I see in my baby. But I just wanted to say, don't be afraid to get your children tested. if you see or think,
Mm-hmm.
there's something that's not, that you feel maybe different, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
My baby didn't get diagnosed until he was 8. He was
Mm-hmm.
diagnosed at age 8. Year after year, teacher after teacher, doctor after doctor said nothing was wrong with my baby.
Wow.
Nothing was wrong with my baby. Everybody kept saying, nothing is wrong, nothing is wrong. And for him to go to this behavioral therapist, and she looked at him and interacted with him maybe 20 minutes and said, yeah, he got to be tested. You just have to continue. It's an extension of advocating for your child.
Mm-hmm.
In our community, especially African Americans, we all say, I don't want, my child to be labeled as this, and I don't want my child to be this, and I don't want my child to be that. When in reality, you're doing a major disservice for your child. I am the biggest advocate for my children. I am always at the school. And I just wanted to also talk about how you said, don't tell the kids like you need to talk more. I had my baby's teacher this year send a note home that said Jada needs to talk more. And
Mm-hmm.
we had a problem. We had a major problem because you are correct. That's not something you do. Like I said, a lot of the qualities in your baby I see in my baby, and I am a firm believer that as he get older, he will be better, and he will need me as he get older, but it will not be in the capacity that he needs me now. I'm a firm believer
Amen.
that this it's going to get he's going to you know he's going to be the one that that's that proves everybody wrong, I'll
Mm-hmm.
say.
Yeah.
But just to go back, show up at the school, get your baby
Mm-hmm.
test. If you think something is wrong and one person tell you no, ask somebody else.
Yeah.
Because you know your child better than anyone else
Mhm.
knows your child. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Yes. Thank you for sharing. And you got this. You got this, mama. Again, I'm always here for support. If you just need a conversation, you just need somebody to hear for you, if you just need to vent, whatever, just know that you got people. You don't have to go through it alone. Cause I will say, I have went through it alone for a long time. Because I didn't feel like anybody else understood because they didn't have a child on the spectrum. Even when it came to like my parents, like my mom, his grandparents, like they didn't know. And like you said, they just, y'all know how we be like, ain't nothing wrong with them. They just need a whooping. Oh, we don't believe in no medicine, this, that, and the third. And so I went through it alone. Like I didn't have friends that I could call and talk to about it. So just know that you're not alone. You don't have to carry this alone. Like I'm here for you, girl. I'll be your friend, girl.
Yes, I can't hear you. Tanya, I'm trying to get you off mute. Can you see? Okay.
I am me myself. I also Tamika, thank you for sharing. It's beautiful. Tamika is my sister too. We go back in ministry, and I'm proud of her for taking the step. So I just want to acknowledge that in a moment. Also, just want to say, as someone who's in ministry and working in the church with children, uh, I would say advocate with your church. Let your church leaders know what you need, because we are going to move. I don't know how, let me just say, I will not approach families and ask them if their children has a concern, because that can be misread as offensive, or me labeling a child. So if you're in a space where you think that your church leaders or your people around you might be your support, let us know, because we want to be your support, but we just don't want to jump in and make you feel uncomfortable. So I just want to say that, because there's so many kids, kids with autism, kids with Down syndrome, kids with all sorts of special needs that, as ministry leaders, we may be seen, or there may be people in your church who are therapists, psychologists, and stuff like that, and they see and they know, and they would like to offer resources, but they're not going to do that because you have to give them the invite. So I just want to share that as well.
Yep. That's so true. That's so good. Thank you, Tanya.
I just want to say too, Tanya, I love the fact that you said that, because as parents, and you would want to go and talk to your church and let them know, like, hey, this is, my daughter, my son, and he or she has this, and I may need, what resources do you have? Do you know anybody? Like, all it starts is with us opening our mouths. If we get the pride out of the way and get the shame, whatever the feelings may be, and just be vulnerable, I think that's the word I want to use. Hey, like, hey, I need help and resources, and it is okay to
Right.
ask. And I think that's I know a lot in our community, we don't like to ask. We are so strong. We want to kind of like figure it out on our own. And I think, Tanya, like as you said, it's good to talk and have these conversations, because if you open your mouth and you ask, then things can start to be shifted and changed, and not only going to help you, but the other families who are so quiet and in the background, or the people who are to come. And so
Right.
I love the fact that you said that. I love the fact that you said that. And I want to also say this too. A lot of teachers, well, let me say this. A lot of teachers, so IEPs and 504s are very lengthy information, and it takes time to read.
Mm-hmm.
And just being honest, you
Yeah.
got 20 some kids and 10 of them have an IEP.
Mm-hmm.
You really think that they're going to sit down and read it? I'm just being honest. So sometimes you're going to have to go up to that school and say, hey, this is what my baby is dealing with. I want
Mm-hmm.
you to know. That goes back to what we said on our first meeting that we had a couple of weeks ago about building that relationship with your child's teacher, with your child's tutor. They supposed to know what's going on so that they can be able to best help your child, and
Mm-hmm.
they won't be 2 or 3 months in trying to figure out what's going on when all it took was a conversation from the beginning. So reach
Absolutely.
out, parents, and let your teachers, your whoever works with your children, let them know what's going on, because it's all about the child's success.
Mm-hmm.
We want to
Mm-hmm.
set that baby up for success. And if we're not working together, parents and teachers, parents and counselors, parents and therapists, teachers and therapists, like I've seen in rooms without, everybody bring, this is the tutor, this is the specialist, this is the teacher, this is like all of us are in a room, and we are actually talking and
Mm-hmm.
trying to come on to create a plan for that child. And so it just starts with open communication, you guys. And so I want to just break that stigma of not wanting someone to know what's going on, because especially in the Black community, I was
Mm-hmm.
raised, but what goes on in my house stays in my house.
Days and
And
mm-hmm.
you don't tell nobody what's going on. But if you ain't telling nobody, you ain't talking, how are you getting help and healing? So
Right.
you got to be able to have that conversation. I see Janice, I'm gonna let her um tag in, and then I'll let anyone else who has something to share before we end on tonight.
Yes, I'm sorry, y'all. This is my last thing, but my baby doesn't have an IEP, but he does have a 504.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just encourage anybody, whether no matter what the circumstance of your child is, if they have a IEP or 504, tell them what you want. Do
Mm-hmm.
not let the school fill out your baby plan and you just go
Right.
along with it. You
Right.
tell them what you need and what you want for your child. That's
Mm-hmm.
your baby. My
Mm-hmm.
baby, his accommodations are a mile long, and it is a-okay. He may not use them all, but they are there in case he needs them. My baby got
Absolutely.
My baby got small things. They put Velcro on my baby desk so he could peel the Velcro back and forth when he feel like he's standing. My baby has small things. He has rubber bands on his chair so he can bounce his feet. You
Mm-hmm.
tell them what your child needs. You don't let
Yep.
them just say, they always say, oh, Jaden is so smart. Jaden, it only takes him like 5 or 10 minutes to finish his work. I still want him to have extra time. Because
Mm-hmm.
what if it doesn't take him 5 or 10 minutes to finish his work? What if it is a day when he's not doing well and he needs the extra
Yeah.
time? Don't take it off. Give my baby his extra time on his work. Let him bring it home. You have to. You can't just go with whatever they say because you once
Mm-hmm.
again setting your child up for failure. You have to be the person.
Mm-hmm.
This is your child's plan. The only thing, I mean, they really can't tell you no, honestly, because what your baby needs is what your baby needs. But okay, that's all I'm gonna say, y'all. I'm done.
Come
I'm
on,
done.
come on, mama. Yes.
Said it without me saying it. Hallelujah.
Come on, know them rights and advocate.
Anyone else have questions or comments? I did have a parent who commented or she texted me. She's on the call.
Mm-hmm.
See if we can go back and find it.
And Tanya, with that training that I have set up for churches, there is a intake form for parents. If you want that, I can send that to you. And that will be for the parents to fill out, letting you know what their child needs if they have deal with sensory issues. If you need help creating a sensory box, just let me know.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you, Tamika. I put it in the chat that whole church is accountable because we are learning too, and we could do better. Let me as a minister and a person working in church with children, I used to work in the mental health field, so I know IEPs and 504s, but in the church we don't have 504s and
Mm-hmm.
IEPs. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I'm saying this, and I'm also saying like there hold us accountable because some of us know how to do it, but we need y'all to kick our butts, just like y'all kick the butts of the school people. I'm gonna say it if no other minister or pastor says it, kick our butts too. And if you don't get it from from your children's pastor, go up to your head pastor. Make sure
Mm-hmm.
churches know.
Yep,
You should be able to
that's
come to
good.
church and worship, and you should be able to feel seen and valued and loved in your spaces. And so, as a person working in these spaces, I'm just saying, hold us accountable. You need spaces where you can be refreshed, and we need to be there for you.
Okay.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Did you find the other question, Sharissa?
She didn't have a question. She just was saying
Okay.
that what she heard was so encouraging, and you definitely have
Amen.
to advocate for your child. Yes, and thank you. So,
Amen. To God be the glory.
mhm. I can tell this we may. Okay, I'll talk about that on the back end on another day because I sent something with this here. But this has been very, 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 very impactful. Just listening in as the tutor aspect or former educator, like definitely what was dropped on today was definitely some wisdom that would be beneficial to not just those with autism but those with 504s or IEPs, whatever that details. So I just again I can't thank you enough, Minister Tamika, for coming on, sharing your testimony and being able to be just a beacon of light in that area to share your son's testimony and just to see what he's overcome from that day you had to drop him off at school and up until where he is now, and just the growth in you with everything that's going on. So I want you to just know that I can see it. from the time that I've known you. And I know there's people here who probably have known you longer than me, and I know that they can see it too. So I'm just grateful for your ministry, your servant's heart, for coming on and sharing on this evening. Definitely probably would need to be a part two sometime very soon. But this has been so good. Lady Shanae, are you here? Is there anything you would like to say or add?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. I just want to say thank you to Minister Tamika for your service, your time, your dedication, your testimony. I mean, we love our babies, and when something's wrong, I am a mother who loves her children. I birthed one, but I help to raise my bonus kids. I'm a bonus mom. And when our babies hurt, we hurt. And when we see something that's not right or we feel some type of way, and when they're going through something, it bothers us. So thank you for being that mother who didn't quit, who didn't give up, who just allowed her baby to just be out there on his own and not advocating for him. And I say that because I see a lot of parents and a lot of African American parents who just don't care. Um, I work with kids at the school, 504s, IEPs. Parents come to the meetings, had just crazy stuff. I mean, just crazy. And I just have to pray for them. So thank you, Miss Tamika, for being that warring parents. You went to war on behalf of your baby and you didn't quit, you didn't give up, you didn't throw in the towel, you didn't allow the circumstances to overtake you like a lot of parents are. And I say this because I watch my kids as they raise their kids, my husband and I, and we talk to them all the time. You are their person. You are their go-to person. You are their advocate. They don't have anybody but you. You have to be their parent. You have to be their parent in the good and the bad. Like my baby girl, my my grandson, he has a little temper and he does, and we're praying about that. Super intelligent, very smart. He may even be gifted. I don't know. He's different. He's very different. He is a unique little man. And I tell her, baby, you got to pray. You have to pray over your son. You have to pray, pray that he be delivered from any form of generational curse and, so much because his dad is no longer here with us. So we have to support our parents and especially our younger parents. That that age of that 20 to 30-year-old parent age group, we have to be the light to them because they need us. So thank you, Miss Tamika, for your service to our young people. Thank you so much. I love you, girl.
Amen. Amen. Okay, Minister Tamika, can you share how we can stay connected with you? And then we also too are gonna drop our Facebook page. I'm gonna drop the link to our Facebook page so you can stay connected to the camp and see some of the other videos, and the replay of this will be on that page as well. But Minister Tamika, can you share how we can get connected to you and stay connected?
I'm sorry, I didn't unmute. Yes, you can reach me through any of my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. Um, you can also reach me through email. I just sent you my Google link if you want to put that in the chat. And that's for if anybody would like to set up a consultation. My email is bold and brave ministries at gmail.com. And I actually have three workshops that I have at right now at this time. And the first workshop is workshop for children's ministries, for teachers, leaders, anyone in the ministry field that needs to know more about it, that serves children or serves families. Like again, the leaders need to know as well. Even pastors, knowing that again, we want to create a safe space for these kids, a space where they can be seen, where they can be loved. I've seen and heard a lot of stories where parents are not bringing their kids, their special needs, their autistic kids to church because they don't feel that it's a space for them. So I have a workshop for that. Also have a workshop for schools, preschools, teachers, principals on how to deal with kids with autism, special needs, things that they should know. We talked about a little bit of it tonight. But then also, I am have a workshop for parents on teaching them to be bold advocates for their children. So, and I may be possibly creating a support group after this. So you guys just be on the lookout. You can reach me again, social media, Facebook or Instagram. On Facebook, it's Tamika Danners Woolley, and Instagram is T Danners. I also have a Bold and Brave social media account, which is Instagram as well, and it's She is Bold and Brave. A quick backdrop on that story, how that even got started. It's just me when I gave my first testimony, just about me, and the Lord gave me the scripture Deuteronomy 31:6, where it says, to be do not be afraid, to be bold and to be courageous, knowing that he's already gone ahead of me, he's already gone before me, to not fear. So that's where that comes from. But also, that's the year that I had Trace. I didn't know all this was going to come from it, but his name Trace, it means brave. And so that's where all this comes from. So I that my motto is to be bold and to be brave, no matter what arena that may be in. If it's being a mom, if it's being a teacher, being a sister, being a friend, on your job, whatever the case may be, I always say to be bold and be brave. Thank you so much. I love y'all.
I
We
love you.
love you too,
I
sis.
love you too. We have somebody saying, "What's say the Instagram again for us, Tamika?"
Um, the Instagram is T Danners.
T Danners. Okay.
Yep, TDANNERS.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. Well, this has been time very well spent. Again, Minister Tamika, thank you so much for your pour. Parents, friends, family, thank y'all so much for coming on. I'm going to, once this video ends, I'm going to go ahead and upload it so that you can get the link to it. And if you again want that link, I'll send it to myself, to, I'm sorry, Lady Shanae, Minister Tamika, and I know Joy, I have your information, but I also will put it in the our Facebook group. You can follow us there, so that you can catch the replay. It'll be on YouTube, a YouTube video link, so that you can share it with anybody, and anybody God puts on your heart to share this with, to get this information out, man. Please be a share warrior and spread the word. Again, we love you all so much. Our next session will be July 21st. July 21st. I want to say that is the day. Let me double check. Yep, I think it is July 21st at 6 p.m. We will be back for our last virtual check-in, and we're going to be talking about home structures to put in place for families, for children, parents, friends, family, just different home structures to help your child be better, have a better home structure when it's time for school and those types of things. We have Janicia Craig, who is a parent. And she'll tell you, if y'all don't know our connection, she'll probably share that as well. But she has some awesome structures that she used with her babies that I think, and I've always told her ever since I met her, that she should be sharing what she do with her kids, because a lot of this is very helpful for parents to kind of get their babies where they want them to be, just in some type of routines and systems. So I'm excited about that. Again, that's on July 21st at 6 p.m. will be our final and last parent check-in. And I don't know, man, Lady Shanae, we've been talking about it. This may be something that we may be doing, not just for the summer. So just stay posted, stay connected with us, and be on the lookout for great and more and mighty things that God is doing with Camp Destiny and Camp EB. Again, so nice to see everybody on this evening. Thank y'all so much for joining. I pray that this has been a blessing to you. Have an amazing rest of your night and week. I love you guys. Bye, y'all.
See you next time. Thank you so much, Miss Tamika.
Thank you, ladies. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.